seems as if I fell asleep for a little while. This cannot do. It's already quite dark, isn't it? The daylight seems to pass me so quickly. I cannot make heads or tails of it. It's so silly how the days just fly on by like nothing. How long have I been asleep for? Judging by the looks of it, not very long, I suppose. I guess the wind must have woken me. I am a light sleeper after all. I am simply too absorbed in all of this. Perhaps I should take a vacation as Era advised me to. But the work, it never ends. How many days has it even been since I last closed my eyes for a full and proper rest? I'll need my full attention if I am to properly look through these documents. The days just blend together now. What else is there even to view? How many more endless nights of combing through these damn documents must I go through? They only serve to spiral me further and further. I'm just so exhausted. And I cannot fathom any of this. How much more will I find and uncover? Even in your absence, you did not fail to leave behind a trail for me to pick up and burn. Was it not enough for you, for your actions to haunt me after all these years? Damn Targathons. This whole family is cursed. How long have they been doing these sorts of things? Behind everyone's back? How far will they continue to drag my family into their messes? What was Mother even doing? What drove her to such lengths, to such insanity? I've yet to even understand it all. These records make little sense. Why were all these people involved for so long? House Clark, House Ladle, House Morvoto, and even House Neuridicus. The list only goes on. Why even hide her from us? Miro, you contempt witch, and Theron as well. Whatever. Fine, so be it. I'll fix this. I suppose I must schedule a visit with Grandfather soon, and to meet with Mara as well. Sleep. It overwhelms me, and yet here I am, with too many thoughts and too little comfort to lull me to sleep. Maybe he will bring me a little peace, though. I suppose. The aftermath has yet to even reach its peak. Oh, Erica? Is that you? Should you not be heading to bed now? You've got to visit your little sister tomorrow, don't you? I didn't put her in that school just so you could miss her performance. Did you need to borrow a dress? Give me a moment. I see. I completely forgot about your existence for a moment. Silly me. I am not quite used to having someone around. Having company, I suppose, is the right way to put it. I guess having a pet is somewhat company, isn't it? But good job. You figured out how to use a door. Very, very smart of you. I'm so proud of you, my darling little pet. Well, don't just stand there in the doorway gawking at me. Don't be shy. I don't bite. At least not yet, anyway. Be sure to close the door behind you, all right? I wouldn't want a draft getting in. Come, sit. No need to throw a fit. You won't be sitting on the floor anymore. We've had enough of that this afternoon, didn't we? Here. Closer. Closer. Good boy. I'm surprised you even decided to join me tonight, my fiancé. I wouldn't have thought that after such a rough introduction, you'd come running immediately. Well, good, I suppose. I'm glad that you're here. We have much to talk about tonight, and, well, I don't have much to do. Let's get to know one another a little better. Have a drink if you're so inclined to. Don't go knocking over the glasses. Only if you want to. I'm not trying to poison you. It's a bit useless and torturous if you ask me. So, how have you adjusted so far? Have Erica and Annalise treated you well? I can't suppose they wouldn't have. They're the best and most trustworthy maids in the palace, as I've learned over the years. Good. I'm glad they were gentle with you. They've forgiven you somewhat, it seems. Anyway, it is best that you are adjusted into this place quickly. You still have that cute grimace on your silly little face. I said it before, didn't I? That I'd take good care of you. I wasn't joking. You may be a fool who holds little understanding as to how this world works. Still, we are not so cruel as to harm you. I said I don't bite. Yes. Unless I have to. I will cut you down. And then you will know true cruelty. I am my mother's daughter, after all. We are not the same, but I was taught by her for many years. I know when to be cruel, unlike her. If you don't bite, I don't either. Understood? That's a good boy. I only let you into my vicinity anyway, since I can easily take you down. And no, that's not a challenge. But maybe we can try sometime. Perhaps we can practice with one another someday, when I can trust you a little more. I've heard that you're very strong after all. Where? Well, obviously, the training area. I suppose you haven't had much of a proper tour of the surroundings. We'll have you walk the grounds with me, perhaps in a few days, or whenever you feel up to it. Which reminds me, you've cleaned up quite well. Your old clothes will be mended and returned to you later if you wish to wear them casually. Hopefully until then, the attire of Penkos, or, well, Svea specifically, isn't too uncomfortable for you in the meantime. I've seen much of your fashions, and read up on them. It shouldn't be too horribly different. The weather here changes very often, however, and therefore isn't as lightweight as your clothing. We can incorporate elements into your tailored clothes later for the ball that's scheduled in the next few weeks. Ah, yes. Have I failed to mention this? I must be rather forgetful as of late. Well, perhaps you remember him, or heard of him. But the Plecteri Knight, he has made a miraculous return, My dear sister Era is to marry him, and a ball will be thrown in their honor. You will attend the ceremony, as well as the ball with me. But you will stay on your best behavior. I know you'll get a little rowdy when you see your precious little Vienna with her loving husband Livius. Please, get over yourself already. You keep trying to deny it. All to make yourself feel better. Did you ever truly read the letter she sent you? Or were you just, I don't know, deluding yourself into believing she had feelings for you? She never loved you romantically. She never did. She loved you as a friend. You were someone who needed help, and she was there for you. She didn't belong to you. Vienna is her own person, with her own feelings. And she fell in love with my brother, and not you. Do you understand how happy the both of them are? You've never seen so much light and joy in anyone before. And I won't have you try to ruin it again. Too bad. You didn't own her. I struggle to think where you had any right to impose your feelings upon her in such a way. To feel as if you owned her before you both mutually came to an agreement. Whatever you went through, it does not absolve the evils you took to. You had no right to act in a destructive way, all for your delusions. And look at where you are now. Captured, humiliated. And mine. That's right. You know you're wrong. It's better to accept it now. You can't deny it anymore, all your wrongdoings. Stop trying to make excuses. We've gone over this today, haven't we? You're just a little boy who can't adapt. You're scared. You don't know what to do other than to run, or to try to kill. But there's no point in struggling anymore, in being angry and defiant. You're here now. You will learn to adapt. You will learn to grow, and then thrive. No more being the husk of a man you once were. But it's fine. I suppose an afternoon and a bit of talking from me this evening can't change much in your attitude. It is not as if I expected anything else. You're ripped away from your home, locked up for ages, only to have a single stomach-churning, sickening option left. Me. It's really funny, you know, how we managed to end up like this with one another. The gods sure do have interesting plans. Well, you see, I really do think we're the perfect match. We're so similar after all, you and me. Though, I suppose on slightly altering paths. I suppose you wouldn't know any of this since you were left in the dark for most of the time. Well, for starters, our lovers, so to speak. Yours, an unrequited one. Mine, unwanted. You were greedy for Vienna, and wanted more and more, till you drove her far, far away, losing her companionship altogether. Now, she's married to my dear brother, who loves and respects her, while I was silly enough, engaged to your idiotic half-brother Theron. It was a secret. It wasn't even my choice, nor was it his. It was a political one, made between my mother and your stepmother. I had only met him once. If everything had gone their way, well, you still wouldn't have been crown prince of your kingdom. You know, it was quite the plot our mothers had to get rid of you, to place me on the throne of Claris with Theron as their king. I still don't understand why, but it was too much for me. Theron. He was too much for me. They were all far too much. So I put a stop to it. I stopped being a sheep. I took control of myself and my actions. And I sought my mother. Before things were far too late. I was raised to take care of my people. But everything that she planned, that they planned, it was just utter destruction for both Pencos and Claris, so I had her deposed. While you, on the other hand, you knew something was wrong, didn't you? And you kept going, despite every bone in your body screaming to stop the war. You couldn't. You were too late. Perhaps Miro's voice echoing in your skull was far too much. You were blinded by fear, want, bloodlust. So, here we are, together, engaged, without both our mothers breathing down our backs. Isn't it wonderful? No, I'd say that too. It's rather sad how we're both here now, manipulated by our mothers, only to end up alone together. You probably wanted love more than anything else. Queen Miro. Despite all the belittling, you wanted her approval so badly, you kept going. You wanted Theana's love so badly, because there was no one else. Well, for me, I loved her too. But it's complicated, as all stories go. Growing up, I sometimes wondered what it would be like crushing her underneath my feet. How it would feel to finally get rid of her. But there was guilt. Because I know she wasn't like this before. Queen Despina of House Targathon. In every report I could ever find, that I could ever scrounge up, before she became a different person, she was known as the meek princess of House Targathon. Meek! I remember her being as such, too. She was sweet and kind. She was very quiet and liked to read us books in the afternoon and in the evening as we drifted off to sleep. She would take us to the gardens to play, and we learned to only admire the flowers and not to pick them, so they could thrive properly. She even carried us both on her small back when we were both sick to the doctor's room, even though we were far, far too heavy for her. She used to braid these these beautiful little crowns into my hair and tie them off with the prettiest of ribbons. But then she changed. Everything changed. It was like a fog that had rolled into the palace and never gone away. It was overnight, like someone had taken her soul and replaced her with the cruel and twisted creature who only yearned to destroy the happiness we all once had. So, I feel guilty, even now, years after, because I loved her, and my heart still holds a tiny bit of that love still. Our blood bonds us together, even if I so desperately want to exist on my own. I followed her every rule, dealt with every cruel punishment, all so that I could make her proud. But I could no longer bear the weight. Every step I took in her shadow only cast me deeper and deeper into insanity. My brother, Livius, could clearly see it. Livius had escaped early on, clinging on to Leo, basically. He defied her. He broke free. And he could see me, seething with pain, anger, and despair. Just gray, black and red, he said. I could no longer bear with the guilt of what I had been doing. I could not bear with the treatment upon me or any of my other siblings, let alone the nation I was born and raised in. You know, I once thought that he was stupid for running away from it. But he was so brave, and I was the coward and the fool who decided to stay because I believed our blood bond made it all right. You probably thought what you did was fine. All that for love and approval. See, I promised myself to never fall into such depravity again. I have no regrets. And you will do the same. You will no longer be weak, and I'll make sure of it. What? I'm sure you've heard me say it enough times. Should I say it again? You don't like the word pathetic? Well, that's what you are. You are weak and pathetic. It is clear to everyone around you, which made you the perfect little puppet. The willingness to do anything to please your family, to seek acceptance and love. And you were still so arrogant, so much so, they turned your confidence against you. Those feelings? Oh, I understand them well. I've explained it as such. I was weak once too. Mild-mannered, wishful and full of silly little hopes that got flushed down the drain. The world changed underneath my feet, and I was swept away before I found my footing. Unlike you, my foolish prince. You have been in my shoes, and I have been in yours. We have been living in very similar circumstances. You, however, ripped away from your reality like a bandage, and I fought from the inside out clawing my way to freedom. I made up my mind when I was given the choice to. I would be the victor. I would carve my own way. I would not be my mother's pawn. And here I am today, without her influence. I no longer have to cower in fear underneath her. And you are free. Free from your own mother now, the regent. She manipulated you and used all of you. And so, from this day forward, you will learn and you will grow. You will use the resources given to you to reclaim your kingdom and win the trust of your people. Do you understand what a mess you made? How your people suffer now from the war? It is well known that your mother was the true cause of it all, but you seem weak to them, to play into her hands so easily. But you are not a pawn. You are to be king, rightful heir of Clan Felidae, House Morvoto, and Kingdom of Claris, the prime leader. Do you understand me yet? Where I'm coming from? So, you better be a good little kitten and listen to me, because I am the only one you have now. I am your only ally, and you're probably sick of hearing that after being tricked, but it's true. But you will gain allies apart from me, only if you listen and act rightfully. You cannot be foolish and let them take your crown away from you. You will show them how good you can be as king once more. Oh, look at you. You seem so confused. It's rather endearing to see you looking so lost. How unlike you. But remember your options, my fiancé. You can either take my hand and learn from your mistakes, or you can stay rooted in your frivolous and foolish ways like before. It is all up to you. There you go again, acting all haughty, puffing up your chest like you're big and scary. Good thing I like big and scary then, isn't it? There you go, being silly again. Yes, you are a prince, and in the hierarchy, I suppose I would be below you. But like I said, it is your choice to listen to me. I'm giving you another chance, and you want to reject it? Because I'm slightly lower on the ladder. My pet, you must understand that you were born into that position, and as was I. You are a prince, the crown prince. You are more privileged than you know or understand. These powers, this title, and your wealth, it was passed down, not earned. Generation to generation. We are all merely creatures of Morena, with a responsibility that was bestowed upon us by the gods to take care of our people. If your arrogance and your inability to understand what I'm trying to do prevent you from taking my hand, so be it. I'm really trying, to make this all better and to fix this. I know you're still trying to run away from it, to elude yourself into thinking that I'm simply some villainess, out for revenge, for trying to kill Leo, or for whatever silly reasons you may be thinking of right now, like jealousy, perhaps. I want us to be at peace, for the people of Claris and Penkos to thrive once more. Look, what I said before this afternoon, I truly did admire you way back when. I knew you grew up in a difficult household, and yet you shined so brightly. You were so confident and full of life. This isn't love, and this isn't jealousy speaking. It's none of that. After witnessing everything that has happened these past few years, I can no longer bear to see you drag yourself deeper and deeper. You can do better, and you will do better, so long as you can truly listen to what the voices around you are saying. Strengthening Claris is what I need. It's what you need, and most of all, it's what your people need. Claris is in my hands now. It is under my control. But I am without the deep knowledge of your culture, habits, politics, or anything else. I need you as much as you need me. You will not have any hands in the politics of Claris until you prove, rightfully so, that you can. Come closer to me. Yes. Now. Closer. Good. I'm cold, and you are so warm. We can enrich each other's lives, very much so, my pet. But only if you choose the right choices. I don't wish for you to be useless and to cower in the corner of your room. But understand that I'm not trying to fix you or change you. I just want to see your true potential come to fruition. Unbridled by people who care nothing for you. And well, I do care for you. You belong to me now, my pet. You are one of my people. All you have to do is heed my words and stop doing the foolish things like you used to. Now, here comes your first set of choices, my fiancé. You can stay here with me if you wish it. You can leave and go back to your chambers. Or you can try and leave the palace and kill me in the process. It would be a shame, after all we've spoken about tonight. But I suppose that means I didn't quite tame you yet, did I? But I suppose it would be your choice to take another life. So, I'll take in your warmth for a little longer, till you make up your mind, my crown prince. The choice is all yours.